Hi everyone. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, or to whenever wherever part of the world you're right now. And this session is a live one that we're going to conduct for imaging magic using Adobe Photoshop and Firefly. So this is a special session for me because it's going to be a very exploratory thing. And I'm going to give you a demonstration of how Firefly works and how the Photoshop beta is now on its current condition. And I'm going to throw in some tips along the way. Okay, so I'm just going to go to my slides because this one would be very fundamental on what you're trying to do. We have upcoming events uh, in the process right now as we progress from May to June. I have the following classes virtually. Again, my name is Roland Banyes. I'm the training director, co-founder of Creative Nation Academy. I'm also an Adobe certified expert instructor, creative insider ambassador, certified instructor, certified professional, and oh my, I can't keep up with all of these titles right now. Okay, so this session is not about me, but it's about you who's trying to learn these types of technologies that's coming to almost every one of us who's using the creative softwares. And I've been in this industry for since like 2015, and I'm doing like all of this education road shows throughout almost 2 decades of being an educator and a designer. So some of them would be, as you would see on the screen, I had conducted sessions lately as a new series for Creative Nation Academy. This one is from using Adobe Capture way back in this week, May 24th. I also did a session for 3D product visualization using Adobe Dimension. You can check it out on our YouTube channel. If you want to learn more about using Dimension and also doing product visualizations, you can definitely do so. We're going to have an Adobe Education roadshow virtually with our school partner, which is the NU Das Marinas. This is coming on May 31st, 2 o'clock to 5 o'clock. I know that's like 3 hours of time. I'm also doing another session for Firefly and Photoshop in the DICT, which is the Department of Information and Communications Technology here in the Philippines, at the same date, which is 9 p.m. to 12. So that's a much more intensive one. In this series, we're going to have the next one on the same day, which is poster design using Adobe Photoshop with our guest trainer, which is Gemry Bocalbos. Some of our sessions will be, as I mentioned earlier, from the ICT. We're going to learn also After Effects in the process. This one would be on June 2nd, the same time, like 8 p.m. in the evening in the Philippines. Another one would be for branding, for building brand assets using Adobe Express with our guest speakers in this series. This is coming on June 7th. Next one would be vector drawing animation, vector drawing using Adobe Illustrator, June 9 with our guest speaker, Gene. Last but not the least, we're going to have implementing design thinking and visual design with our guest speaker, Rock Leo. So that is all of we're trying to do a series of webinars or live sessions for Creative Nation Academy. And I'm going to do a live demonstration, face to face, physical, on the on June 15th on the SMX or SMX Convention Center, which is on the Mall of Asia, Pasay City. It's going on June 15, 2:30 to 4:30. So I'm going to cover a lot of AI stuff. Okay. So if you're not yet subscribed to our page, I will definitely appreciate if you're going to like our videos, view them, and if you find this information valuable, kindly subscribe to our channel. And I recently got into TikTok. Like, I'm now on the second month of being on TikTok, so there's a lot of there's a lot of content already here there. You can definitely check it out. And I want this to be very interactive as possible with all of you who's in the in the live environment. So if you have questions, just type it in. And if you are watching this on a replay, you can feel free to do so. Type in your questions, and I will answer it at the at the best possible time I could read your comments. Okay, so our agenda for this session is about the one about the public announcement about the open beta access of Firefly, and I'm going to demonstrate to you how does it work. And I'm going to also teach you how to use the Photoshop beta features, not just generative fill, but also some of the new things that they have been included on the 24.6 version or the beta version. Okay, and who's this session for? This is for almost everyone who wants to leverage generative AI on their on creating and automating their visual designs. It's either for educators, students, creatives, and artists. Uh, I just want to give like an emphasis on this. Firefly is a family of new generative AI coming to Adobe products. So right now it's still in beta, and initially it has like image, text to image, and now it has text effects. But on the recent update, right now you can have generative fill, on which I would give you a demonstration. And the goal of Firefly is really to offer new ways for you to ideate, create, edit, and communicate your workflows to improving them. So that's really the goal of Firefly. And another thing is about you need to consider this as a co-pilot. It doesn't replace you as the designer itself. It just augments what you have specific skills right now. So it doesn't replace you at just like everyone is telling that it creates panic within the creative industry, but it's not. It's a way for you to augment and to just like using a camera, right? Again, it's not a replacement. It's a augment. It's a way for you to augment. It's a co-pilot, and I just checked this post recently, and again, prior to everyone has been thinking that Adobe has jumped into the AI bandwagon, and as you would see, for more than 10 years, Adobe has been delivering hundreds of AI-driven features. I can remember is that way back in CS5 they have like what they call content aware. So actually that one is already artificial intelligence by itself. So if you don't if you do not like artificial intelligence in what you do, then I guess Photoshop has been you've been using Photoshop since like CS5, and you don't know that it's already have AI driven features on it. And it's not bad to use some of these technologies, but we have to be very open-minded on such things, on which it could we could take advantage of it. We could generate more like images, media using these assistive technologies. And this one has already been said by David Wadhwani himself on the keynote. If you watch the Adobe Summit this year, he have mentioned this, and this is where they have launched Adobe Firefly in the public on the part of the keynote. And I would like to give you this thought, which is human creativity will never be replaced by a machine, and uh, unless we have given up already, because when we have given up already on our capacity to just like learn, experience a lot of things, that's when we think that the machines have replaced us. But that's not the case. Okay, so I would like to propose that it's a combination of human creativity and generative AI, and this will really change the game again for all of us creatives, especially if you're watching this on a later date, or if you're watching this on the replay. So, my experience with Adobe Firefly came back way back before it was like launch. I was invited to join the Firefly program, and as you would see on the screenshots, and then we got in on the actual invite. And I've been using a lot of AI generators throughout the years that I've been teaching and also doing creative stuff. And as you would see, way back before with Photoshop, and then the new implementations, which is the neural filters. This has been like a way for you to prepare yourself for things that's going to come. I've been using this types of applications from mobile applications such as Dream by Wombo, Starry.ai. If you're using Discord servers such as Midjourney, if you're also using like DALL-E 2, Dream Studio, which is the online version of you couldn't see it. Okay, the if you're using like Dream Studio, which is the online version of Stable Diffusion, you can also run AI images locally using the what we call Stable Diffusion Automatic 1111. I'm also using that. And right now we're using like Firefly. You can also generate images using Shutterstock. Believe it or not, you can also use that. Chat GPT in connection with Midjourney and other like ways to plug into Chat GPT. And then the recent one would be Leonardo.ai. I'm also part of that growing community. And recently I've heard there is a new like implementation, which is the dragon, or if you just have to drag a specific points on your image and it will automatically generate you images on the fly. So that's very exciting news, and I hope in the future this will be included on the Firefly itself, or the implementation or the methodologies on how to use it. Okay, so right now, as you would see, I've been using a lot of this as we go along. And when I first tried Firefly, and I know you're excited to try it as well. Me too. Before, as you would see, I created something like this on my first day of using Firefly, which is like meh. But as we progress right now, we're doing a lot of things that with modifiers and things that you could do with the prompts. So it's fun. It's really fun at the first date. And I'm going to give you a demonstration on how like Firefly works. If you go to firefly.adobe.com, on which I'm going to put on the chat right now. If anyone would like to say hi on the chat, I'm just going to tap it here. Adobe Firefly, firefly.adobe.com in the chat. I'm just going to copy and paste this so you could access it also. What do you need to for you to access Firefly? You just need an Adobe ID, and you're done. You just need your Adobe ID. Sign in to firefly.adobe.com, and you're already set to go. So let's talk about first about text effects. So how do I use text effects? So I'm just going to jump into my Google Chrome browser here, and as you would see, this is the new version of Firefly, the updated look that we have. And as you would see here, if you go to the following like modules inside of Firefly, I'm going to go to text effects if I click on generate, and you can definitely see that there are a lot of presets or things that you could try out that is already prepared for you. For example, if I'm just feeling like eating some pizza, you can definitely do so. Let's click on this and click on try prompt. If I click on that, this will enable you to generate a specific like text effects using this prompt. For example, I put like pizza on it. For example, if I just type in this is where you're going to put your actual text effects that you're trying to do. For example, let's type in creative, and automatically it would generate the text effect for you. You can definitely use some of the sample prompts if you want to change your mind. For example, if I go to and type on flowers or click on flowers, you would see that it has saved some of the prompts already embedded on the sample prompt. And if you want, if you're being annoyed by that background, you can definitely do so by clicking on the background color here on the, and then click on a specific, like, let's say, let's take it to black so we could see all of it. Okay, and you can change fonts if you want. For example, I want this to be like using Poplar. Let's click on that, and you can easily like change the font of your text effect, and it will automatically again create and generate something for you. But if your specific prompt doesn't fit or doesn't have like a preset here or already made one, you can definitely like type in anything that you want. For example, if I want, I could just think out of I'm just going to think something. Let's say, let's make this like ocean, sea, dolphins, and sharks, for example. Let's try in something like this. Let's click on generate, and as you would see, the text effect will check on your prompts and will generate specific like text prompts on this. Okay, isn't that like the one of the best things in creating something like this? And it will give you like four suggestions on how do you implement this. For example, if I click on this one is the first one. As you would see, there is a variation of specific like implementation of this, and you can just check it out. Let's click on this, and it generates like very unique um output that even if you're trying to just copy and paste the prompt, it won't be that very similar in that case, because we tried it for a very long time when we had like the session on April 1st, and we tried to generate like very specific same prompt, but it gave us a different one each time. So you just have it makes sure that you don't have like the same prompt. Let's click on that, and you would see there's a lot of variation that we're trying to do. And as you would see here, this one is a little bit like so over the place. Let's click on the text effects fit. Let's click on tight, and this will generate a much more tighter text effects fit on this. For example, there's no more like flourishes or outside components, outside design elements that you would see here. And the great thing about Firefly on the text effects is that you can give your evaluation, or you can rate your results. If I click here and give us much more information about this, you can easily give feedback for the algorithm to be better each time. For example, if I click on high quality output, this one would be prompt accurate interpreted, closely matches the requested style or theme. Let's just click on submit feedback, and you got it. Okay, so that's how you could create like text effects using this. But if you also want, you can just change the type of color if you want. Let's just click on here. This will again regenerate a new set of like text effects here, as you would see here. And if you want, you could just easily like create like negative prompts. If you're familiar with doing negative prompts, you can also like type in if you type this type of command, avoid equals, let's say, a specific like prompt. For example, let's say that I don't want like water. For example, let's just try this. Okay, if you want, you could just click on avoid water. Let's click on generate, and let's try and see if this would be removed. So as you would see, there's much more less, or there's lesser like water on this. It's much more on the ocean or the actual dolphin and shark prompt that I have instructed it to do so. Okay, we also have lots and lots of parameters that we can do here, but this one would be part of another like uh, tutorial on the future, because I have lots and lots of notes for this, so you could try to explore. And If you really want this, you can just easily like click download here, for you to automatically download the file itself. This one would be prompting you to include what we call the content credentials. So it it just gives the information that this one is AI generated art. Okay, if I click on continue, if I do that, this will automatically be downloaded on my downloads folder. And if I click on that, this will automatically give this watermark. I'm just going to move this, so you will see there's this watermark that we have. If you're wondering what how big is the resolution for this, it's around 1024, or sometimes it's, if you would just check, much more higher than that. So that is text effects inside of Adobe Firefly, and you can easily, like, if you want, you can definitely like click the favorite icon here, or if I click on that, this will automatically give you a chance to revisit it. This one is fairly new because this will enable you to save your prompts. As you would see here, I have lots and lots of prompts already that I have already saved on my favorites folder. And if you also want, you can also save this in the browser. So um, as of now, this one is a new thing. Okay, so this one is very helpful because it will enable you to save your prompts. This one, the favorites. Let's go back here, and you can definitely click on other options. If you want to submit this to the Firefly gallery for you to contribute, let's click on submit to Firefly, and this will upload or submit this into the gallery. Let's click on that. And one thing that I noticed is that when I click on that, I have never seen this copy the clipboard. So let's try and copy this, and let's try to just delete this. If I type in or paste this, nothing happens. I wonder what type of implementation is this. Copy to clipboard. Okay, so that is how you use text effects inside of Adobe Firefly. So let's go back, and if I go back, let's click on here. Let's move on to another module which is much more exciting, which is the text to image. Okay, let's click on text to image. So what we can do about text to image is that this will enable you to visualize things in yeah, in together with the prompts that you're trying to make. Similar to text effects, this has a lot of save prompts that you can easily like access. For example, if I want, I can start from scratch. If I want, let's just go here and type it. Let's type in what type of prompts is I'm going to create. Let's say tarot card. Let's say let's type in Phoenix tarot card. Uh, in the style of Stavdore, which is definitely an artist that I love. Stavdore, ink drawing, red, for example. Let's type in that. Let's type in and click on generate. As you would see, we have already access to the almost all of the functions that you can use inside of Firefly. As you would see, you can click on this. For example, if I click on that, this will enable me to view it on a much more bigger uh, screen or image, as you would see here. Okay, and you can change what we call the aspect ratio. We have 5 right now. This one is the newest one, which is the vertical 9:16, which is just like days ago that they have implemented. So if I click on that, this will automatically give you this type of aspect ratio on which you can do it on your stories. For example, if you're using social media, as you would see here, if I want, I could just definitely like download this. Let's say I love this one. Let's tap on download automatically. Let's click on continue. And I can definitely like create lots and lots of designs using just this. Okay. The next one is we talk about aspect ratio, and if you want, you can just generate a specific like content type. If you want, you can generate like a photo of specific prompts that you have created already. In my example, let's do this, and let's just wait for Firefly to create something like this. Or if I just like delete some of my prompts, let's just take it in a much more simple thing. Let's type in Phoenix. Let's type in Phoenix. Let's type in and click on generate, and you would see it will prompt you that your prompt is too short. For like example, let's type in Phoenix in a table, not the place Phoenix. Okay, let's click on generate Phoenix on table. So let's try this. This will generate a photorealistic rendition or of as you would see here. Yeah. Okay. So if I love this, let's click on favorites. So this will automatically save on your favorites. If I want, I can just click on download, and you can definitely see a lot of possibilities using this. If you click on graphic, this will also like create a version of this in a graphic format. Let's click on that and just wait for this to be. is- This one is another like version of what we're trying to do. Let's go back to photo and try in some styles inside of Firefly. So, for example, if I click on like all, this will give you a lot of interesting styles that you can implement on your current prompt. For example, if I want this to add like steampunk vibe, I just click on this and click on generate, and this will automatically give you like this type of movement in your art style. Let's try on that. As you would see, it's like a bit like metallic steampunk look. Let's type on. Let's try to download this and click on continue. If I want, I could just like mix and match all of these movements. Let's click on synthwave, and if I want, I could just like check other like materials. For example, let's try yarn. For some strange reason, I just want to click on yarn. Let's click on generate, and as you would see, this will give you like a very interesting implementation of the merging of specific styles, just like that. So this one is created with yarn, that has a synthwave and a cyberpunk feel. Okay, which is like a bit like a modern Egyptian thing. Okay. So if you want, you could just easily like click on the similar to the text effects that I've shown you. You can easily like click on the thumbs up, and you can tell the Firefly what type of feedback you want. For example, prompt accurately interpreted. Let's say great for inspiration, exceeds expectations. Let's click on submit feedback, and this one is already being submitted to the Firefly team. And if you're wondering if I could like change a specific aspect ratio after the fact that I created this, you can definitely do so. For example, if I want to create like a widescreen version of this, just click on widescreen, and automatically it would just create you and generate you this type of art that you have specified. And the next one I'm going to try to give you a glimpse is this option for you to show a similar feature. This is similar to stable diffusions or other uh, image generators seed value. When I say seed value, it's specific like look or implementation. Let's click on show similar. This will give you more. Okay, I forgot that. This will give you more variations based from this one thing. I stand corrected on that. Uh, for example, this one. Let's say if I want, I can just like click on this. This one is the seed value, which is the use as reference image. If I click on that, this one is actually the seed. This one will give you like a similar implementation. For example, this one, but with a different, as you would see here. but with different outputs such as this. So let's click on that. The position is almost identical, but some of the elements itself has been changed or like randomized, as you would see, or seed randomized. So you would see that you can definitely like create variations of this just from one of this setting. And if you want, you can fine tune it to your heart's content. For example, let's click on that. If I want to use this reference image, if I want to be very strict on the reference image, I can just definitely move the slider to the left. So it will be very strict on the actual reference image rather than doing it with the prompt. As you would see here, I've generated like four of them, which is almost like super identical. If I tweak it down, it would give you like much more subtle changes. Let's just wait for a little bit. And yeah, as you would see, some of this is much has as much more feathers than others. Okay, so that's how you like fine tune some of this. And on the bottom, you can easily like specify what type of color and tone. If I want this to be like black and white, I can easily like do that. If I click on generate, this will create um, the specific tone and color that you have created. This one is a bit like muted. If I want, I could just change like let's make this the dramatic lighting or make the composition actual like view. Let's make this like close up. But the thing is, it doesn't affect what we're trying to generate right now because I'm using the reference image. Take note, I'm using the reference image. That's why it doesn't like obey my prompts as of the moment. But if I close on that and then click again on the generate itself, automatically it would do its thing. You would see that it would give me the actual like black and white, dramatic lighting, and close up, as you would see here. This one is a little bit like black and white right now because it has like some colors because of the art style that we have indicated, which is synthwave and the yarn itself. As you would see, this one is made of yarn, but it's implementing like the synthwave and the steampunk prompt. Okay, so that's how you customize this using text to image. And if you want, you can easily like jump from one component to another by using what we call this button, which is the generative fill. Okay, so before that, inside of text image, you can easily like create generative fill actions. Let's click on this, and automatically it will jump to another module, which is the generative fill. If I want, I could just like easily like delete this. Let's type in this. Let's remove some of this, and let's move this. Just brush away some of this, and then you can just like make this prompt like green lights. Let's click on generate, and let's see what's going to happen. Again, it will give you like four variations of your prompts based on that. And then I didn't like give it a very descriptive prompt, which is green lights. As you would see, there are variations of this. Like you can easily uh, have something like that. If but I'm going to give you like another demonstration of this generative fill. Let's click on that. Let's go to this option, which is the middle one, which is generative fill. If you click on that, this will give you like a perspective of what we're trying to do here. For example, if I click on this example, let's click on that. I can definitely like change the color or the actual composition of her jacket to almost anything. For example, if I just brush it here and I try to like make it as a red jacket, red leather or a red sporty jacket, I can definitely do so. Let's click on that. Let's click on generate. And this will give you in a few like seconds after this is being generated. This will give you something like this, even headphones. And It has like very great variations that you can choose from. For example, this one, or even this one. As you would see, it's almost magical to the sense that you can easily create something like this in just a few clicks. Before, if you're using Photoshop, this will be very hard without generative fill or generative AI being assisted on this module. Okay, so if you want, you can just easily remove something. For example, if you want to add like, I'm just going to add more. For example, this one. Let's click on like a cap. If you want, I could just like insert a new cap here. Let's click on keep, and let's add like a cap here. Let's say, let's brush it here, and let's add like a baseball cap here, a white baseball cap. Baseball. Let's click on that. Let's click on generate, and you can easily see that you can definitely create something out of nothing using generative fill. And if you want, you can easily also to choose your selection. For example, this one or this one or this one if you want. For example, I'm just going to touch on the second suggestions. Let's click on keep. And if you want, you can also like remove stuff on the background. Let's say if I click on this, let's click on remove background. Automatically, it would give you like um, remove the background itself. Let's click on remove. And I can easily like create backgrounds that I want to implement. For example, if I like click on, let's click on keep on this. As you would see, it give you like recommendations on this. Let's click on that. Let's click on keep, and we have like brush settings that you can also use. For example, if you want this to be very opaque, if you want your brush to be much more harder, the brush opacity, you can definitely do so inside of generative fill. And you can do a lot of actions if you want to subtract something. Let's say if you want the hair to be like blue, for example. Let's click on this, and let's make this a little bit smaller. Let's click on brush size, and let's make and highlight her hair, this one, and make this like someone I know, which is like, let's click on remove. This is using a remove function right now. So you can definitely like remove here. If you want, you could just like cancel this out. Let's click on clear. Let's go back to insert. In this one, I could like change her hair if I want to. Let's say I want this to be like red, because we have like red jacket on red. Let's try this one. I haven't tried this one yet, but I'm trying to learn this one. Let's try this red hair example. Let's click on generate, and let's see if this would give us the same great results. Let's click on that. Okay, so we have created a bit of red here on this, but it's not. Oh, okay, this one is a little bit good. Let's click on this. This one is, I think, it's much more better. Let's click on that, and you can easily like keep this for you to download. Let's click on download, and you can easily like recreate something like that using generative fill inside of Adobe Firefly. Okay, so let's move on because we have lots and lots of things that we're going to cover in this session. Let's go back here to generative fill, and let's go back to Adobe Firefly. The last one would be this one, which is the generative recolor. If you're using Adobe Illustrator, you can definitely take advantage of this feature because you can create SVGs inside of Illustrator, upload this in in Firefly, and modify this. Let's use an example in the website itself or the service itself. Let's click on this one, future retro futurism poster, and you can definitely like change the color itself by just clicking on the sample prompts, or You can also like type in a specific field, like say muted a blue in gloom, for example. Let's type on that. Let's click on generate, and this will give you like a gloomy um, blue version of the colors that you want to generate. For example, that one. Okay. So this one is like magical in my sense because you can easily just type in a feeling that you have, and instantly you can just create something like this. And if I click on that, you can easily like swatch or shuffle the colors automatically by just using this. And if you want, I can easily click on the copy to clipboard. If you want to copy and paste it to another application, you can easily like download this. This one is already on SVG. And if you want, you can easily also upload the SVG on your computer and into Firefly. And also you can do that inside of generative fill. For example, if I want, I can just click on this and I can easily like upload my photo. In my example, let's click on that. Let's go back to my desktop and let's click on this example. This is a picture of me and a fellow trainer, Jem Bocalbos. You can easily like, I can easily like change my clothes here. For example, I'm just going to brush away some of my clothing for this instance. Again, using the brush, you can easily like make the brush size bigger for you to make your work much more faster because this one is, and I can easily like type red tuxedo for some strange reason. I'm just going to put in like red tuxedo. Let's click on generate, and let's see what will happen if I have that red tuxedo. I can remember Dax doing this. For example, let's click on that. It will give you like, oh, that's an extra hand right there. Oh, this one is not good. Okay, let's click on this. I have like this red tuxedo. Pretty fancy, isn't it? Let's go back here and we have something like that. Okay. I think this one is coming from Adobe stock itself. So as you would see, there are a lot of possibilities that you can do. But I'm feeling this second one, and you can definitely keep it and you can use your own photos. But the only difference or the only caveat is that when you download this, it will also give you a watermark on that photo. For example, let's click on continue. And after I did that, because Firefly is not yet for commercial use, again, you cannot use Firefly or generative fill into your commercial production. If you have paying clients, don't use Firefly for that. Okay. So let's type in, let's check that Firefly in Paint. As you would see here, I created something like this. I didn't have like the time to brush this up, but as you would see, if I have like more time on this, this would definitely like feel much more seamless. Okay. So let's wrap this up. Inside of Firefly, we have given you a demonstration on how to use the text effects, text to image, generative fill, and also the generative color recolor. Okay, generative color. So some of the use cases that I've been doing here is, for example, if you're like ideating for some food photography, if you want to like explore conceptual art, you can definitely do so using Firefly. Creative exploration, for example, if you want to create something like this, or if you want to create like in my case, I created like asset or stock generation using like leaves. Uh, this is not for commercial use, by the way. This is just for me to see the possibilities of using these types of approaches using prompts into the work that I do. So, as part of exploration, I'm going to give you a demonstration on how to download the Photoshop Beta 24.6, which is publicly announced like 3 days ago, if I'm not mistaken. So if you have like the CC desktop app, if you're subscribed to Creative Cloud, let's open up the Creative Cloud. And when you're here, you can definitely see some of the options here or the categories inside of Creative Cloud. Let's click on Creative Cloud and you would see that there is what we call the beta apps. This is not yet the final version, and you can easily see the white icon of Adobe Photoshop, which is installed in beta. You can easily like install this. Let's just pretend that you can just easily like click install, and you're good to go. This will automatically give you access to the generative fill inside of Photoshop. So that's how easy it is for you to download Photoshop beta, which is 24.6. If you want to check this out, let's click on the other versions. As you would see here, there are other versions, and the latest one would be the 24.6, which is I have right now. So this is the only option, which is to uninstall it. Let's click on done, and I've already downloaded this, and I've been playing with this for like days and days. Let's go back to updates, and as you would see, there is another update for Photoshop beta as of the moment. So I'm just going to download that later on. So I'm just going to open Photoshop and give you a demonstration on what's new on the beta state, which is the remove tool, the contextual toolbar, adjustment presets, and the gradient live preview. All of this will be covered in this session. So I'm going to open Photoshop. And as you would see here, I have some of the photos that I've been testing and trying. But let's click on this photo that we have. Um, I have left this to be opening on camera raw. Let's click on open. And we have access to the beta version. And the first thing is about the remove tool. For example, the remove tool will enable you to, again, as the name itself, it will enable you to remove things. It is located here. If you click on the spot healing brush tool, it is tucked under the spot healing brush tool. This is the remove tool. Let's click on that. And you just have to just brush away some of these things. For example, this one automatically this will go away. I know some of you would say I can definitely use that on content aware, but I'm going to give you like other examples later. For example, this one, this is fairly easy for remove tool. But what if I want to like remove my my ID here, my this one. If I want, I could just click and drag on this, and let's see what would happen if I do that. And as you would see, it's not that obvious because I have like big brush. If I want this, I could make my brush a little bit smaller, so you could see I have successfully removed my ID lays on this. I'm going to give another example using another sample image that you can definitely see the power of remove tool. Let's go to my downloads folder, and I have like, where is that folder? This one, generative fill. I think this one. Let's say, oh no, not this one. Let's go back to remove tool. Generative fill, I think this one. I'm just going to check if this is the real. Okay. So if I want, I could just use this photo. It's my remove tool. I'm going to check this one. Okay. So I have this photo that has been downloaded from what I think this one is from Pexels. Okay, let's click on open. And as you would see on the photo that there are a lot of elements inside of this like window on this window. Using the remove tool, you don't need to just use like the content aware technologies. You just have to use the remove tool and then make your brush bigger and brush it all away. Like that easy, that efficient. Let's go here and move there. If I want to remove this like magazines here, I can easily do so. And if I want to remove this spot here, I can easily like brush away. It's just like brushing away your problems. Let's go back here. And that's how easy it is for you to do something like that in editing. So for example, I want to remove this like electrical socket here. Easily do that here is using the brush tool. Done. Okay. And the next one is there is a new toolbar here. Let's go to Window. Where can you access this? It's if you go to Window, there is what we call the contextual taskbar. If I uncheck this, you would see that this bar has been removed. If you want to access it again, let's go back to Window and let's go to contextual taskbar. Let's click on that, and this will enable you to do specific tasks based on what the tool you're using. For example, if I go to the text tool by pressing the T keyboard shortcut, and if I press on that, you would see that the contextual taskbar will change based on what type of tool you're trying to access. For example, let's type in like relax, and you can definitely see the efficiency in mind with this. Let's say 72. Let's select all of this and make this like bigger. It's like 300. And you can definitely see when I click on move tool, this will like change the contextual menu because I'm not using the appropriate tool. If you're on the brush tool, let's tap on this. Right now, I'm on text tool. Let's go back here, and you would see that this will also enable you to select subject if you want. Let's click on that, select subject, and this will trace your photo for specific like subjects inside of your photo, as you would see here. And also with that, you can tweak specific like functions. Let's say if you want to expand, if you want to smooth your selections, you can definitely do so using the contextual taskbar. There's a lot of options that you can use this for. Okay. So the next one would be, if I'm forgetting something, the remove tool, the contextual. Okay, I forgot this next one, which is the live gradient tool. So like live gradient preview. Let's click on that. And before in Photoshop, this will not enable you cannot be live previewing the gradients itself. But right now, you can easily like create something like this and preview it on the fly, which is like a good thing for some of the new designers who've been just using like gradient tool. But in my case, I do not use the gradient tool that much. Okay. And the last one, oh, okay, I forgot the last one, which is the remove tool. I'm just going to check my notes. The adjustment presets, oh, which is by the way very like this one is also a game changer for all of us. If I'm just going to unlock the photo itself, let's click on that. If you go to your properties folder, if I'm not mistaken, I'm just going to ask for where is that. Let's check on this. I'm just going to reset my workspace because this one is like reset essentials. Okay, so let's go back here and let's check for the presets. I forgot where the presets were. Let's go here. Yeah, it's under the adjustments panel. And as you would see here, you can easily like select the photo and you can easily change based from the preset. And even if you don't like click on it, this will give you like a preview. This will give you a preview of what you're trying to achieve. Let's say if you go to creative, you can easily like create something like this automatically, and you're not committing on the fly on using this. Okay, so this one is really like a great time saver for all of you who's been using Photoshop for years and years. And if I just click on this, this will automatically give you the recipe, what we call in Photoshop, the recipe for the specific like adjustments that you want, which is a great way for you to save time, and also a learning tool for all of us who've been using Photoshop for years. If I click on that, this will give you like what does this color balance adjustment layer do. Yeah. Okay, so I can just like delete this, and for me to do the next one, which is the actual uh, like the main spotlight of this, which is generative fill inside of Photoshop. So let's start by doing what we call the in painting. If you're not familiar with the technique called in painting, this will enable you to like modify specific pixels inside of the existing canvas. So you're just like editing things that's already been existing on the photo itself. So how can we do that? You can use generative fill by just using any of the selection tools that will give you. For example, let's type in the lasso tool. You can definitely do so, but in my case, I can use what we call where is that? Um, what we call the new one, which is the object selection tool. If I press on that, using Adobe Sensei, it will analyze your photo and automatically like detect the subjects itself inside of what you're trying to do. For example, if I click on the dog itself, let's click on that. Using our contextual bar, let's click on the option and click on expand selection. So we want to make this like much more uh, it has like breathing room. Let's click on okay. So this would expand it a little bit. And if you click on generative fill, again, we're doing in painting. Let's change this into a black cat looking down or looking up. That's much better. Let's click on generate. And as you would see, this will take a little bit of time. It's pulling a lot of information. As you would see on my activity here, it's like requesting data from the servers, and with that, I can easily like create something like this. And the great thing about this is that it gives you variations of the generative images. For example, let's click on the next button, and then let's click on the next button, which is I think this third cat would be a better candidate for this. And after that, you would see that if you go to your properties panel, this will give you like a lot of variations. And if if this one doesn't satisfy you, you can just easily like create generate again. So all of your like generations, all of your variations will be saved on what we call a new layer inside of Photoshop, which is what we call the generative layer. That's a new layer inside of Photoshop. We've been so used to what we call text layers, like smart objects, but this one is a new one, which is generative layer. Let's click on the next variation. Next variation. I think I'm good with this, but let's go back here. The only caveat to this is that it gives your Photoshop file a bigger footprint because it saves it into a generative layer on that you can go back like a week from now, a year from now, as long as you have saved the Photoshop file. Okay. So I'm just going to go back here because I love this cat better. And this is how you use Photoshop in painting scenarios, as you would see here. In painting, again, if you have like existing pixels that you are trying to remove. For example, if you also want to remove like specific things, let's say, you can definitely do so. If you want to remove the cat, you can definitely do so. If you want to add more objects, you can definitely do so. Um, if I want, I could just select something right here, and let's say if I want, I can add something like here. Let's say let's add a bottle of water, for example. Let's click on that bottle water. I'm just going to select. I'm just going to be responsible and create like a better selection because if you don't have a good selection, even the AI would be confused. Let's do that. Bottled water. Type on this bottled water. Let's click on generate, and as you would see, this will give you the following generation. Right now, we're inserting generative fill or generative images that is not present. You can modify already existing elements, and as you would see, I could just like pick on specific like ones, like this one or this one. I can pick like this one, and easily I could create something like that. Okay, or if you want, you can easily like modify her clothes. For example, let's just select her clothes right here. Let's try to generate like a white t-shirt, white t-shirt, and click on generate. So automatically, this will replace her clothes with the specified prompts that we have generated, that we have typed in. Okay, as you would see, this one is generated, and let's go back here. You can have like lots and lots of variations. Let's type in like white dress, for example. Um, let's do white shirt, not t-shirt itself. Let's click on generate again. Okay, you can easily like edit something. If you want, you can easily add like other components on the scene, which is really the power of generative AI, generative layers inside of Photoshop. You can easily also change the background if you want to change the background. And I think my Photoshop is a bit like unresponsive lately because I put um let's just cancel this for a while. And I'm just going to give focus on another like feature that's really mind blowing, which is the outpainting features inside of this generative fill. If you want, you can just zoom out of this and just let's press on the C key, which is the crop. You can easily extend your canvas by using this. Before, you can easily use this and use what we call the uh, content aware cropping. Let's say if I click on that, but right now it's not available right now because it's already, yeah, okay. So right now I can easily like create selections based from this. If I select here, I'm just going to like nudge a little bit because I want to get more. If you want, you could use the marquee selection tool and make a little bit of selections here, so the AI would know that this one is being covered. I'm going to hold the shift key and add another selection here, for example this one. And then I could just click on generative fill, and without typing anything, I can just click on generate and let generative fill take responsibility of this. Okay, let's just wait for a while. And you would see this has already created something like this. This doesn't suit my taste. Let's click on the next variation. Let's click on that, and as you would see, this is like game changing for me because you would see that it has fixed a lot of problems that I've encountered. Let's click on this again, and this one is like a much more open field. And after that, you can easily like do it again. Let's go back to the crop tool. Let's extend this again here. On this one side, let's tap on return or enter. And again, select using the marquee selection tool, rectangular marquee. And let's click on generative fill. Let's click on generate. And you can definitely see the use of this technology for you to extend your photos or even correct photos in that manner. Let's just wait for a little bit. And all of this generative layer has been like, okay, my scratch this is already full. Let's go back here. Let's try again if this one would actually do its thing after we created this. I think I have lots and lots. I don't have much of the storage space in my computer right now. That's why it's okay. As you would see, I've created something like this. I can just like crop it again, and there you have it. You can easily like crop things. You can easily like save things. And I just want to add, learn how to fix example. Oops. Yeah, right. Okay, let's go back here. I'm just not going to save this anymore, um, because I have lots and lots of. Let's close on this. Don't save. Let's close on this. Don't save, and we can definitely like purge our all of them, so we could have like a new, a fresh. Okay, let's go back to the remove tool and click on open. And I want to give notice on this topic, which is the content credentials. You can access it by going to the window, and then you go to content credentials here. So it's again, it's still on beta. And what we can do inside of credentials is you can responsively put your information, your editing decisions using this. Let's click on enable content credentials. And as you would see, this will give you a way to announce and be transparent on what you're trying to represent or to create. For example, let's click on that. All of my metadata, such as my credentials for my social media, my Twitter, this one is already saved on the file itself. So how can I access this if you don't have like a way for you to check this? If you go to your Photoshop menu, if you're on the Windows side of things, you go to preferences, you go to settings, and then you go to what we call the history and content credentials. If you're on Windows, you go to edit and then preferences, history and content credentials. Just click on that. And I want to put focus on this. This category here, this segment here, is by default is, I think it's on enable for saved documents with content credentials. I just switch on the enable for new and saved documents with content credentials, because going forward I want to author like creative documents that would be saved as part of the document itself, or the outputted version, which is on the second part, which is this one. Content credentials, export as option. You have the following option, which is publish as content credentials in the cloud. So the file itself would be saved in the cloud. But in my case, I used attach to file JPEG and PNG. So how do we use that? Let's go back here and let's do again some editing on this. Let's add again the water here. Let's add some water here. Let's just make this a little bit simpler. I'm just going to zoom in so you would see. Let's go to generative fill and let's go bottled water. It doesn't exist actually. Go back here. Let's try and check if my scratch this is cooperating again. So here's the waiting game. Okay, let's try. And what I'm trying to do is that create an edit on the current document and save it with the content credential, as you would see here. So right now, let's just pretend that this one is already like fixed. I can just easily like translate this or move this. But the problem is there is like hand. So let's just ignore that for one time. Let's go back to file and then let's go and export this as a, let's go and click on export as. And after that, you would see that on the export as dialog box on the bottom, you would see that there are the following options. I could easily like add the metadata, which has been there for like years and years. But this one is a new one, which is if you go to content credentials beta, you can easily have the option to publish this as the content credentials for the cloud or attach the file into a JPEG or PNG. Let's click on export and save this to my desktop so it would not be like very all of this would be saved already. Let's click on that. And I'm going to teach you how can we verify the photo itself that this one is already edited using the content credentials, content authenticity initiative. I'm going to my browser right now and I'm going to type in the site, which is verify.content.authenticity.org. I'm just going to copy and paste this for all of you who's on the chat. I'm going to go here and put the site. It's verify.content.authenticity.org. I'm going to paste it on our chat box so you could access it on your own time. And what does this do? What does it do? Let's click on inspect image. Let's click on that. And you can definitely see if I inspect a new file that I've created. Let's select the PNG or the JPEG file here. Let's click on the remove tool, the one that I authored recently. Let's click on open, and you would see that it has the changes, even the metadata that I have on my socials, even my like Web3 identifications. If you click on that, this will give you like a way for you to inspect the file. Let's click on overview. You'll see I have like two modifications because I've enabled the content credentials inside of Photoshop. So I hope in the future, if you want to be very transparent with what you do with AI images, you have to enable the content credentials for you to play that responsibility. Okay, so that's how you could check for the verification of your AI generated images using verify.content.authenticity.org. Okay, so I hope you learned a lot of things in this session. I'm also going to uh, have a session on which how can I detect a specific like content that I've generated. For example, this one. I'm going to, if I'm, for example, I have this like design that I've created. I'm just going to show you some of the things that I've been like playing recently. I have this file on which you can easily see the modifications that we have created on example. Wait. This one. I have this like I created this profile photo on my Facebook account, and you would see you may be wondering why is it something like this. This one is a screenshot of of a research that I've been doing, which is the error level analysis. So using generative field, you can easily like spot specific AI generated content and even the borders of a specific like file that I have created and then generated another for based from the generative field. You would see that this one is one image and this one is another image that created from stable diffusion, and I use generative fill to create something like this. So what is the final output? This one is the final output. I forgot, where is that output? Bear with me on this one. So that one is the, forgot, where is that one? I think it's on my Facebook. I think it's in my Facebook, like this one. It's on my Facebook cover on which I created this one, mash it together with two photos, and using generative fill to create something like this. That's simple. And I've used like error level analysis, noise analysis, for you to detect specific like changes in the photo itself. So I'm going to give you a extensive one on that in the future episodes we're trying to do. So I hope you find the value in this session. I'm just going to switch to my slides right now because I know some of you would be like, okay, okay. Let's go back here, and I've demonstrated to you an extensive, in-depth like demonstration on how to do the following inside of Photoshop Beta 24.6, which is remove tool, contextual toolbar, adjustment presets, gradient live preview, and I've also demonstrated to you how to access the beta apps inside of Creative Cloud desktop app. And are some of the examples that I've created from this to that. Already did the demonstration of Photoshop beta and also created a a practical approach on how we use Firefly. Again, Firefly or even generative fill is not permitted for commercial use. Okay, again, you cannot, you should not, and would not use generative fill for your clients or paying clients. And as you would see, this one is a screenshot of what we did later on, previously. Again, I just want to give highlight on this, the content in authenticity initiative. This one is headed by Adobe, and how it works. It's a collaboration of a lot of companies who wants to fight misinformation and to add a layer of verifiable trust to all the types of digital content, starting with photo, video, and these are the partners that they have as of the moment. As I check with the website that they have. Again, if you want to enable content credentials, you can definitely do so. If you go to preferences and go to history and content credentials, check the following things. If you want to attach it via the JPEG or PNG file, you can definitely do so. It depends on your workflow. Okay, and you can definitely use the content credentials beta panel. If you click on the enable content credentials, this will enable you to add specific like elements inside of your your photo, and add your lots and lots of information, and you can also preview it. If you click on preview, this will launch a web browser the similar that to I've given you, which is the verify.content authenticity.org. Okay, so this one is an example of a image. I recreated this without any asset. So it is also possible inside of the beta version of Photoshop to create something out of nothing. So I'm just going to prove it to you. For example, if I go here, if I click on close, let's close on this. Let's create a new file. Let's click on that. Let's make this like 72 so it won't like give you like so much trouble in what we're trying to do. If you want, I could just select on things. For example, this one. I can I can add like ocean hitting the waves. Let's click hitting the waves shore example. Let's click on that. Sand. Let's click on generate. And then you can easily like create something out of nothing. This is a game changer for all of us who've been like staring at a blank page inside the Photoshop, wondering how can we like create. As you can see, that's how easy it is. I can definitely like create another one, which is, for example, the sky itself. Let's say if I want, I could just do a generative fill. Let's add like a island with tower in like orange sunset, for example. Orange sunset. Click on generate. So this one is right from scratch. You can definitely do so even if you have images. You can, so that's how you can approach this. And it works like magic, as you would see. For example, that something like that. Or you can choose from more than one of this. For example, that one or this one, or Let's say if I want, I could just like remove this orange sunset. Let's just in sunset. Let's click on generate, because orange is not really like a good color to start with, because the it doesn't match the the image on the in the foreground. Sample this one or this one, something like that. Or you can also again do in painting. Let's say for example, let's add this and do like tower, a big tower here. Let's add this red tower, red watchtower. Click on generate. And the thing is, I can go back to my first generation of first layers of generative layer, and something like that. For example, let's choose not some, yeah, something like that. If you go back here to generative layer one, you can easily like select specific, like for example, something like that. That would be like much more better. Let's go back here. I can easily like remove this. Let's say let's just make this like so natural. Let's make this like watchtower without amplifying or without actually saying it would be red. So let's try that one. That's a watchtower, a broken watchtower. My sample that one, or even this one. Let's go back here. Okay. So great to see. You can easily like select here, use your imagination. Let's try and create like dragon. And this is great for you if you want to like imagine things like a specific like scene. That one's funny. Okay, let's try this one or this one. Let's make this like a dark dragon or dark dragon. Let's say this one. Let's go back here and click generate. So we're just having fun on this. Let's go back, try this one. I'm just trying to prove that you can easily create something like this, like a dark dragon. Okay, okay, that one is doesn't like. So funny. Okay, let's let's just scrap that idea. So you get what I mean. You can easily create something like that. If I want, I could just like delete this, and if you want, I can insert like a crowd or a people. And let's go back and close this. Let's go back to our slide so we can like wrap this all up. Uh, I did a demonstration on content authenticity. And for summary, we just learned the what and why of Adobe Firefly. We have provided you some demonstrations on how to use Firefly as of the current state. I also given you the demonstrations on how to use the new version, the new beta version. I'm not saying the new version, the new beta version of Photoshop with generative fill. We have explored editing on a made photo and from scratch. Okay, so if you have like questions, just type it on our comment box. I'll try to check it from time to time if you're watching this on a replay. And if you want to help this session and future sessions, and if you want to access the slides, if you want to purchase it, you can definitely do so by going to the link here. We have like plans on which you can get the following, which is the slides that I've used, the recording itself, if you want to review it, and even issue you or give you an e-certificate for attending this session for you to for your professional development. So if you want to get access to this, you can go to bit.ly/CNA sessions 2023. It really helps us to create more sessions such as this. It's fairly affordable. If you're on the US, it's just like around $2 to $3, for example. If you're on the Philippines, it's like 149 pesos for this whole assets that we have created for all of you enjoy. Okay. So, with that said, again, thank you for being here in this session. If you're watching this on our other sources, feel free to go to our Creative Nation Academy YouTube channel, subscribe. And again, some of our upcoming events, I'm just going to flash it on the screen here. We have lots and lots of events that's coming up: Photoshop, Firefly, After Effects, Adobe Express, Illustrator, and design thinking. So again, I'll be doing a face-to-face session with Firefly and Creative Cloud updates on the 26th Graphic Expo 2023, happening on June 15, 2023 at SMX Convention Center, Mall of Asia, Pasay City, Philippines. Okay, again, thank you for listening in this session, and I hope to see you on the next one, which is on May 31st, which is poster design using Photoshop. I bid you goodbye. Stay safe, and I'll see you in the future. Bye, everyone.